I feel like if the Bosnians understood electromagnetism, they'd be able to take down the Voltes 5 just by defeating that electromagnetic thing that pulls it all together. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, and we are back with another episode of Voltes 5. I should point out ahead of time that I record these two at a time. Obviously, I release them one at a time. People often ask why I do that. That's to ensure the continuation of episode releases on the channel, because the promise given is that every day, if you tune into the channel at 9 a.m., there is at least going to be one new thing there. And releasing everything one episode at a time ensures that in cases of emergency, that promise is fulfilled. It's not some sort of stopgap measure to make sure that you're constantly paying attention or whatnot. No, I just want to make sure that we always fulfill that promise that if you keep coming, there's going to be new stuff. Anyway, that said, of course, this is going to be the first recording that we do of this day, so we are going into episode 7. But before anything else, we have the board, and I hope past me has been keeping up that other promise, which is to include a image link to the board when this goes up on YouTube and on Patreon, so you're not beholden to whatever I put here in this smaller window, that you'll have a thing that you can zoom in on and critique me for being right or wrong about stuff. But of course, we also have the board changelog, so I've added Eiffel. I connected Eiffel to Ipe with a blue line. Around here, pets are family, so blue line, family related. I added Naigu. I connected Naigu to Voltes 5 with a red line. Or sorry, the Voltes 5 team with a red line. I connected Naigu to the Boaznian Empire with a green line. Sorry, as I explained before, Boaznian is a hard word for me to get into my head because I always want to go to Bosnian, and this is so close to that. It's the same way that in Gundam Origin and Gundam 1979, there is a character called Tianem, who I just always want to say is Tianem, isn't Tiananmen, rather, as in Tiananmen Square, because it's the first word that comes to my head when I read it. So in the same way, Boaznian comes into my head as Bosnian. So I'm working to get past it. Explaining it right now is the best I can do. And I also marked Gardo and Nagu as dead because I hadn't marked Gardo as dead before, I don't think. Probably because he was in the last episode, last grouping of episodes, so it hadn't been done yet. And yeah, I guess the other element is that I typically get my images from Behind the Voice Actors, which is a website that tracks voice actors for who they voiced characters for. So apparently, a lot of the beast machines, the monsters of the week, aren't listed on Behind the Voice Actors like Naigu is, but the beast that he merges with during the episode doesn't have a credit. And I guess at the end of the day, I'm much less concerned about our monsters of the week not showing up on the board. Kind of like when it came to Magic Knight Rayearth, I stopped listing all of Ascot's pets because they just were one and dones. Versus, say, all the Boaznian invaders that are on the ship who are there every episode. Those are more important to me. So unless one of the monsters starts appearing repeatedly throughout the show, then I'll pay more attention to it if he's not on the Behind the Voice Actors. Because again, it's not like Ippei's dad has a credit on Behind the Voice Actors. The dude has no lines. I went in and added him manually because I thought he was important backstory material to Ippei to have on the board. These guys haven't affected anything really beyond Gardo being important enough to Heinel, for Heinel to give him horns, because apparently that's representative of something in Boaznian culture. So I felt that important enough to do. Anyway, on to my thoughts about the last two episodes, or the things that I thought I needed to write down carrying forwards into future episodes. I think it is interesting that we get shown that the Bosnians are attacking even when there is no episode for it. Like at the start of episode 5, we get Big Falcon being somewhat severely damaged by a recent fight that we really didn't get to see. Now, the downside is that the episode doesn't really use this fact for anything, but I think it sets up our expectations that stuff is happening all the time, and that even though one episode might end on a happy note, there's no telling what the next episode might bring. One of the running themes of these early episodes seems to be that Kenichi is the leader and he's always right, but is a real dick about it. With my modern day perspective, I would assume that the show would go on to have that blow up in his face, and he would have to learn a lesson about how to deal with his team members and what leadership actually means. Usually, when I suspect that that should happen, old school anime disagrees with me. I guess it's something I'll keep my eye on, as if it would happen. It should be relatively early in the show, I would think, but I'm guessing, as I'm stating, I don't expect it to happen. So, that is the end case on that one. Another point to notice is the idea that no one can really leave the base, despite Ippei running off last episode, due to the whole conceit of the Voltes 5 needing all members in order to form. Unlike the Sentai copy that I grew up with, Power Rangers, where the Zords come to them when needed, the team needs to be at Big Falcon in order to launch. That means the possibility for social interaction is really limited to whoever is at the base. But then, they have been secluded away for a year training, so it's unlikely that they have much of a social life left. I enjoy that the professor outranks Kenichi in matters of leadership. On one hand, for that Kenichi still needs to learn his lessons thing that I said above. On the other, it's because the professor is sort of in that halfway point himself. He cares about the team, but seems unable to fully express it. When he needs to tell Kenichi to go save his brother, he first puts it into terms that Kenichi can understand. You can't form the Voltes 5 without all of its parts, before focusing on the brother aspect of it. When Ippei is having trouble due to his past and his horse, the professor has already been thinking about these things and how to solve them. Despite, from a coldly logical position, them having nothing to do with the effectiveness of Voltes 5, he's got some work to do himself, but he's a lot more there than Kenichi is at the moment. Not for nothing, but we got shown that the team has a backup robot that maybe can't defeat the Voltes 5, but can certainly knock it around on a bad day. You'd think that they would use it in the base defense when things are getting really bad. Like back when their mother killed herself to make an opening for her boys to survive. If they had had the training robot back then, it could have distracted the monster, and she would have been still alive, maybe. It just seems odd to show us that they have a training robot that can knock them around, and then not use it ever again. Just something from last episode. Kenichi is such a good shot that he took out 3 different wheels on the Jeep, but not how you'd think. First, he shot the closest wheel to his angle of fire. You know what? Hold on. I'm going to use the window I already have open to try and help explain this, because the way I have it written down, it is not very good explaining. Hold on, let me get color you can see here. That did not do what I wanted. Yes, I said I want a white window. There we go. Okay, this is the Jeep, right? Hold on, let me get some wheels. The Jeep needs some wheels. All right, wheel one. Sorry, I wish this was... I am not like those YouTubers that you see just scrolling through and painting on a window. I am really slow about this. All right, that's your Jeep that Ipe is running away with. We'll say that this let's make it red because it's Kenichi. That red dot is Kenichi. So the first thing that Kenichi does is he shoots out a wheel, right? Okay, I need to make that bigger, obviously. Boom, shoots out a wheel, specifically that wheel. Makes sense, right? Ignore the fact that those are arrows. Makes sense. He can visibly see that wheel. What's the next thing he shoots out? Sorry, I was ill prepared for this. Boom, shoots out the next wheel, right? Makes sense. It's on the same side he's on. He can see it clearly. So what do you think the next thing he does, right? What do you think the next thing wheel he shoots out? I have a feeling that you would suspect that it would be this wheel right here. Because as we can clearly see, Kenichi can see that wheel. The same way he can see all these wheels. But no, Kenichi is such a good shot that somehow he shoots this wheel, which, as we can tell, sorry, what color can I use? I guess this one is separated by the entire body of the Jeep. He somehow shoots through the entire Jeep to get the front right wheel, and he shoots that out. I don't know if I'm like taking crazy pills, but that is fucking insane to me. The I don't know. Maybe this is like the JFK assassination of where did the magic bullet go and how did it take out the president. But for me, Kenichi shot two obvious wheels, and the animators were like, what's the next shot he could take? And he takes out the wheel completely separated from him. Anyway, that's a magic bullet. That was my entire point. Maybe stupidly wasted on this little drawing. Anyway. Well, my previous comment about them having to be at the base seems already proven wrong, as Kenichi asks the professor to send Ippei's machine out to them when they are in the middle of a fight, implying that they could go all out together if they wanted, and Big Falcon could just send all of their machines together, assuming that they could get into a position where they could all get into their machines and not be attacked by whatever monster of the week is there. So, the conceit of the last two episodes that everybody needs to be at the base in case danger happens is immediately proven to be not really the case, in that they can just send whatever Voltace machine they need wherever and whenever they need it to be. Alright, that said, those are my notes from the last two episodes. And of course, the board, with its new "How good of a shot is Kenichi" graphic, to be forgotten and later deleted before next episode's recording. So let's go ahead and hop on in to the next episode of Voltace 5. Again, xylophone, whatever it is, still love it. Oh, yeah, again, I apologize. I have to talk over the opening for copyright reasons. The reason I have to talk over every opening on all the shows. Oh, I guess this is a mirror of the fight they had literally last episode, except that this time they're grinning about it. I had to use that as basically the thumbnail of last episode. It was too good of a shot of Kenichi punching Ippei in the gut. Even though the last episode was focused on Eiffel and his survival, Eiffel's a bit big to fit into the frame of a episode trailer. The real question is, how long am I going to be able to keep up that plays the xylophone with the episode? The playful music behind that makes me believe that this is a toy-selling commercial episode. What is the lighting situation here that he has a shadow that goes this way and a shadow that goes that way? I don't know, the professor's doing experiments, I guess. Oh no, the kid's doing experiments. Legitimately not, are you okay, brother? Even if you're covered with bruises and whatnot? Okay, the kid with the Voltaise machine that deals with water, who wears a sailor suit, is making a octopus. I love how Kenichi just fucking swears all the time. I mean, it's pretty cool though. Even though he looks like a Nintendo villain. I think the professor would actually be cool with it. Even though he seems cold on the outside, the professor seems to be like acknowledging of each individual character and what they want or what they need psychologically. Okay, apparently this episode takes place on that island Jurassic Park was filmed on. Okay, go figure that Catherine was the Hiyoshi of the Boasnian group. Gotta say, I think Catherine's invention blows Hiyoshi's out of the water. I guess this is also technically Catherine's third chance, in that she gets blamed collectively with the rest of the group for the failures of the first couple of episodes. and then gets given a second chance when she doesn't flinch at the sword coming down on her hair. I'm not exactly certain how this is actually better than any of their other flying beast monsters, though. Because, like, the bat one was super fast, so fast that they couldn't, like, keep up with it. And the bee one, I can't remember anymore. It's interesting that Hiyoshi made one that could talk and has intelligence, and none of the Bosnian machines can talk at all. Or I guess it's just an element that they don't think talking is important for their beast machines to do. It's weird. This is weird. I feel like if the Bosnians understood electromagnetism, they'd be able to take down the Voltes 5 just by defeating that electromagnetic thing that pulls it all together. I'm gonna say no. Great, it killed the snake. What did it really do to you? Got a massive naturalist message going on here. I mean, ultimately, they could have just taken off and left. I feel like this is going to fall into the same thing that happened last episode, where the big bad literally had them trapped on the ground and it chose to do some sort of weird, complicated attack, rather than just walking up and smashing each of their cockpits open. I mean, at least proving its worth. And conversely, Kenichi could just, like, open his cockpit a little bit and shoot the vine. We've already established Kenichi shots can break boulders. Also, ultimately, if she could pull out of the vines, it seems like everybody could have pulled out of the vines. Hell, not for nothing. They could have just formed Voltace 5 and been out of the vines, because we already know the electromagnetism pulls them all together. Unless you're saying that the vines are stronger than the grip of the beast machines we fought before. Again, I already know I'm right. They're doing it too. Again, just fly up next to her, and then everybody at the same time, let's vault in. And you'll break the grip. We proved that, like, last episode. Or, I guess you can do that. Again, just vault in the air. The electromagnetism will pull it all together. I'm glad they're bringing General Oka back. I mean, he is Megumi's dad, so it's good to have him still as a recurring character. Oh, you're gonna have to use Takko to do it, aren't you? Kenichi is a fucking dick. How does that help anything, either way? What the fuck, man? Yeah, I was legitimately just thinking if I was the beast monster, just jump on top of the cave until it collapses on them. Or I guess fire missiles at it, I guess that works too. Now we know this won't work because of the entire first episode invasion. Didn't even eject. Yeah, again, that's what I was thinking. That's what makes Kenichi's I'm gonna shoot it so fucking stupid. They're so forgiving of how dickish Kenichi is. I mean, granted, I guess Takko was just a thing. It's not like Eiffel. They could rebuild Takko. That's some, like, high-level emotion play to play on a little kid. It's like fucking emotional whiplash with this show sometimes. Funny enough, you'd think Kenichi was like American. How many times he pulls that gun out to threaten everybody. Or Blue from Infinite Rivals. Actually, it kind of sounds like a xylophone being played in an echo chamber, because there's the element of like the first strike of the xylophone sound, but it also seems to echo off into the distance. I've also said this is funny because he's docking it upside down and the other guy's cockpit's coming in straight in, implying that these two are just going to be staring at each other the entire fight. Because again, we already know that Kenichi is the only one controlling this thing, and he's sitting on the top and the head, because it does that whole facing up, turn to face forwards thing. Kind of like a Valkyrie in Macross. And again, I think it's very strange. Very strange that he's only in the right eye. Please let this be the first episode where they don't pull out the top attack. To be clear, I have no problem with the string. The string is fine. Kenichi in your potty mouth. Just like from this position, you could use the super magnetic string and whip the wings off of him. And he wouldn't be able to fly. Ah, heat. The same weakness the RX-78 has. Should it? I mean, it should get really weak and brittle. I don't know if it should explode. I mean, I don't know what metal it's made of, so... It's weird given the whole bird image motif of like Big Falcon and everything, that the island that almost destroyed them was bird-shaped. Ah, damn it. I was hoping. We were getting real close to the end, so I was hoping the top wasn't coming out. Oh, that's different. I don't know how half of it turns into smoke, but that's different. Oh, it's in Gardo mode. Oh, it told itself. Straight from Gundam Seed. That's a bit of a cheat. They didn't make the V. They just held it up, and the V still appeared. In the professor's defense, Takko's engine is right on its bottom, and we know it's some sort of jet engine, and it was flying to land on the professor's head, so conceivably that super hot jet engine is now sitting on his scalp, blistering and burning the scalp away. So when he's screaming, help me, I hate octopuses, he might not be screaming, help me, because of the octopus part. That could just be an additive to his scalp being burnt off. Overall, not a bad episode. I appreciate that the arbitrary fight didn't really happen until the very end, or rather, the victory of the fight didn't happen to the very end, and that we dealt more with, again, the Kenichi's a dick story arc, which I'm feeling more and more is never going to be solved. Like, I do not know how this happens in the live action Voltes 5 Legacy. Well, that's interesting. We got it looks like another Boaznian royal here to effectively put Heinel in his place, I guess, because he splashes whatever drink that they drank in his face. But I assume he comes with his own machine because it's a tiger that's attacking him now. The only thing that would make me suspect that it's not his own machine is the fact that it has, what's his name, Jurgle? His missing eye scar. It has that on his tiger, which would make me think this is another opportunity for Big J to fail. So, I don't know. Then again, I don't know who this new person is either. They got horns, though, and horns are meant to be a status symbol in Boaznian culture, apparently, if we believe Gardo's episode, which is why Heinel gave Gardo horns. I don't know. I don't specifically know why the bird was going to be more successful than any of the other flying beast machines from the past, because it didn't seem to have any specific benefit that the other ones didn't have. Because again, one was really quick. One I can't remember the bee had something that was very special about it. I cannot remember what it was. But this one was just a bird. Like, inspired by prehistoric animals, but it was still just a bird. I guess maybe the beam weaponry, but it didn't use that to any efficiency. Like, it took out a oil oil ship. Sorry, words are escaping me. It's getting real hot in here. It took out an oil ship with its beam laser eyes, but then it just used almost exclusively missiles when it was attacking the Voltace 5 or the Voltace 5 machines. It seemed very odd. Oh well. Again, the major point for me is how much of a dick Kenichi is getting with every ongoing episode. Like, you stupid little kid. How dare you? You let me use my gun to shoot the machine, which is so clearly filled with spare parts that we could use. Oh, you won't let me do it? Well, then you do it. Plus, by the way, this is an anti-Chekhov's gun. Not even considering the fact last episode, we saw Kenichi breaking boulders with his bullets. This is an episode where they pulled out his gun and then tossed it around a little bit, but then didn't use it to shoot the vines that are sticking their machines to the ground. I don't know. I just don't understand when he uses his gun and when he doesn't use his gun. It seems like the rule is if his gun can be used to make him a bigger dick, he'll use his gun. If not, then the gun stays out of focus. Losing my faith in Kenichi is all I'm saying. That said, though, that is this episode. I got no real notes again. I do these 2 at a time, so the notes will come around at next week's viewing after next episode. So, once again, I've been Theta. This has been Stoneface Reactions. We will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?